Alright, so here is a story in Jamaica Gleaner that appeared yesterday that I had to record on, and it's about the long deceased Hollywood actress Linda Darnell. I barely remember her. I think probably when I was much younger. Her name, I might have seen her in some old movies because this is like in the late early 1900s. Alright, and she had a very interesting and very unfortunate trip to Jamaica. And here's my two cents on this. So, when a Hollywood star put Jamaican blast 70 years ago, actresses visit colored by racism. 70 years ago, Linda Darnell, one of Hollywood's hottest actresses, and I'm paraphrasing there, was in Jamaica shooting a movie called Saturday Islands. There's a huge buzz around Linda, especially since she's been described as a various movie magazines as the most physically perfect girl in Hollywood. I think this is probably for Greta Garbo, trying to think of some other names, Marilyn Monroe, I believe, who came much later. Alright, now here's the kicker right here. Linda's weakness for black men, and this would be play into her very negative experience in Jamaica, was hardly a secret. Basically, yeah, I know how openly racist Hollywood and Western world, well, most of the Western world was. Like I said, like her being a very one of the most beautiful sort of actresses, white actresses, and she pretty much has a hankering for the soul pole, if you get my drift. One was hardly a secret. One leading Dallas, Texas newspaper referred to her as a, well, certain rhymes with a certain N word that rhymes with trigger. I love her. All right. So yeah, she described her as a certain N-word lover in the late 1940s. Yeah, cause remember during that time, even though a lot of white females, many of them were racist as their male counterparts, a lot of them had a hankering for the black dick, and that was a no-no for the white male establishment. Even though a lot of those white males had a hankering for black women as well, but as long as that was kept in secret, that's fine. Me, like many of those same racist white males say, okay, we can get with these little negresses because we have a sexual fetish for them. But for you white females, you better not be we better not be seen with no black men. All right, and all right, also be consequences, and usually the consequences would most likely fall on the black men. If you get what I mean if you read history. During the Coast shoot in Jamaica, Linda fell ill and was quarantined at a resort for several weeks. While in lockdown, she celebrated her birthday with a party and invited 17 Mandingo natives. Basically, said you got some black Jamaican men to come up to the resort and again, obviously, join her in the bedroom because she didn't really invite them over just to have for just have Bible studies. Yeah, she was looking for something. She was looking for something between their legs to slide in for the birthday bashment, well, amongst other things, as I just said. Readers should know that 1950 was just a few years after Evan Blake, a black Jamaican journalist, jumped in swimming pool at the Myrtle Bank Hotel in Kingston, 1948, to symbolically open up hotels to black Jamaicans. A U.S. newspaper in 1951 reported that Jamaican resort hotels are not tolerant of Negroes, basically meaning that, okay, this little nigger colony we have in the Caribbean, okay, so we want to keep that racial pecking order intact right here, meaning that the dark skinned blacks, we're a bit more tolerant of the blacks who can pass, cause many of them have that delusion that they're part of the team. But I digress. Although all of Linda's guests were fully paid for, the resort was anywhere the party that included black guests and management was probably one stop short of a victim type party of the property. Basically, these racist ass people at the resorts or these coons. Cause I won't be surprised if some of the people who worked at the resorts weren't probably white though, but probably half white or whatever, or quarter white though. Cause you'd be surprised to know that many, even though a lot of these establishment times were white run, many of them had these biracials and mulattoes who thought they were part of the dominant society. So don't be surprised you find out that a lot of those people at the resort who ran the resort are saying, what is these darkies doing here? Alright. However, They couldn't as money had been already been collected. So the hotel did the next best thing they could. Reports are at the resort retaliated with spiteful, bad-minded revenge. Service at the party was reportedly appalling. Drinks were served hot and food was cold. Delivery service at the party was punishingly so. I was saying like, we want to send a message to these that these niggers better be off the resort. Though I mean, as long as you're cleaning the pools, cleaning our bathrooms, I say we don't want to mingle with these good white folks. So basically, they're saying, hey, we're just gonna make it clear that hey, these little niggers have fly past their place, and we're trying to put them back in line. And angry Linda Darnell swore revenge against Jamaica, more specifically against the resort for the blatant apologetic racism, classism, and disrespect. Her praise were answered a few days later was the arrival of Hurricane Charlie, which temporarily wiped the resort off the North Coast map, brought destruction through heavy rains and flowing through upon the entire island. And unfortunately, it did that. The hurricane did not wash away or take out all those racists and their hangers on. Unfortunately. Alright. Linda returned to New York and to Hollywood on a badmouth campaign against Jamaica, saying the island was already tropical jungle and shambles with 40,000 homeless Congo refugees roaming the streets of Kingston. So Linda Darnell basically went full Karen right here. And this is where I had a problem what she did. I understand her being upset about what happened because that was appalling. I didn't like the fact that you're just making the whole country suffer. The hurricane publicity was bad enough in North America by important influence of movie star Linda Darnell, who made movies with Sidney Poitier and Tyrone Power, made much worse for the emerging destination by amplifying the island's grave distress. To counter the effects of the bad 1951, government was forced to send two teams to the U.S. to repair the island's battered image, damage control. And Linda died in 1965, just at 41 in Howell House Fire. Blah, blah, blah. And yeah, that's sad and so on, but the cusp of this is that Linda Darnell, due to the fact that she was inconvenienced at that party, basically put the whole island on blast. Now, one hand, I can really say that, yeah, I understand where she's coming from, like what happened, especially to those black guests, which was basically their way of saying we put these niggers in their place. That is true. That is part because Jamaica, let's just be honest. Jamaica, unfortunately, like the rest of the Caribbean and most other black countries, still had that colonial infrastructure ingrained with them. We still do to this very extent. I mean, we're not going to have blatant open racism because you're not going to be finding a lot of non-black people openly calling a black Jamaican the N-word over the streets because the chances are that's not going to end well. But a lot of the institutional and systematic infrastructure is still there. And I can believe what happened though, because many of those, this is when Jamaica, this is before we got quote unquote independence, meaning like, yeah, we got this notion that we got full independence. We just got a less visible form of racism, which is still around to this day, as I said. The problem I have with Linda Darnell again is that you're just, instead of just keeping it at the resort, just what she should have done was I don't know if she did it, maybe this article's not naming it. She should have just put that resort on blast and call out the names of the people at that resort. The people in charge of the resort that did that little funny style bullshit right there. Instead of saying, oh, Jamaica's this and that. Let's say that it's just basically saying all of Jamaica, just because you got inconvenience at one party, we have to punish the whole country. And that's where she went full Karen right there. It's just saying, how dare you ruin this particular party for me? Imagine what a lot of black Jamaicans have to go through. We have to go through economically disenfranchisement. We are enduring discrimination like other black people in the diaspora. We've been more than inconvenienced. Instead of her saying, talk about the plight, a lot of black Jamaicans, like the classism and colorism, that was basically that's still very rampant to this day, rampant. She basically just said, hey, this whole country has to suffer though. She could have said the treatment these black men went through, who are most likely were bedroom buddies, because I'm sure she slept with more than one of them. She could have just said, hey, this is what I want to at this resort. See, this particular resort, we're putting some blast. We need to identify the name of the people who work at this resort, and we need to get them fired, and things have to change. She should have used that platform to do that. And the very telling thing about this article is that they're not naming this resort because it's basically indicate this resort is still around. Because I'm pretty sure that, okay, if the person who wrote this article or say, hey, is this resort? Yeah, there's going to be some bad publicity for this said resort. And I think some very people in high places are going to be looking at the Glean and say, take take our name out of this article. Do not mention this resort by name, or else you're going to be facing a lawsuit. And the person who wrote this, that person's going to be out of a job. And I'm pretty sure that some people who run the Glean are pretty much friends with some people at that same resort to this day. So we're not really going to try and make the spot hot for them by just print out. But the thing is that they should have named this resort, and they should have named what happened to those people engaging that racism. But the thing is, like I say, it does go to show that colonial system which Jamaica is still under, that's still very much present. But as I said before, is that even though majority of Jamaicans are black, unfortunately, the infrastructure of systematic and global white supremacy is still so entrenched that even if you don't have people in robes burning crosses, you have people with that very disgusting, bigoted mindset that basically feel that they're better than the darkies. And that's basically what happened. So, but as I said, like, yeah, and yeah, I know people say, oh, maybe she wasn't racist because again she liked black dick. Yeah, big whoop, dude. All right, many white females or non-black females like black dick. All right, they basically, yeah, they like that sexual that sexual access to black men. All right, because black men, for the most part, most sexually desired males on the planet, are we the most respected and revered outside of what's in the outside of the bedroom? No, we're not. All right, and I think, and the thing is, what again, her, like I said, liking black dick, because you know it's never said that if she had a black husband, black boyfriend, or any black biracial children, or she could have just been one of those white females that pretty much like black dick on the side, probably had a white husband or boyfriend and some white kids, because she just basically wanted to keep that position of whiteness within her community, because her being of a certain complexion and being very physical attractive helped pave the way for her acting career. All right, so she didn't want she may not she may want the sexual desires of being with a black man, but she desires her social status of whiteness was more important to her. That's what I'm surmising, because unless someone can point where this woman has, Linda Darnell has done a lot for the black community economically, donated to certain black causes or whatever. Yeah, she was acting like a Karen right here. So, yeah, but this is a very interesting story I had to do a recording on. And that's pretty much all I want to say. All right, this is for State of Jamaica and the Caribbean. Check out my YouTube pages, Miles Goodson Farron, Miles Just Productions, Real Thoughts and Miles. All right.